Good evening. My name is Thurman Greco, and we have a program coming to you this evening. It's called Let's Live, and we have a wonderful guest here this evening. We have Whitefeather, and I'm really excited about this, and I'm going to ask Whitefeather to introduce yourself.
Well, thank you, Thurman. Good evening, everyone. I'm Whitefeather Oatagagan. I live here in the Catskills. I'm very happy to be on the show in Woodstock tonight. So as introducing myself, I'll explain a little bit about my name. Whitefeather, Messenger of Peace, was given to me by a Wolf Clan mother, Twyla Nitch, grandmother Twyla from the Cattaraugus Reserve. She's a clan mother, Wolf Clan, Seneca Nation. So she gifted me the name Whitefeather over 30 years ago. And when she gave me the name Thurman, she said, use your name. Your life will change. I said, okay. So I did. I came home. I'm Whitefeather now, and everyone fell right into that. Interestingly enough, when you ask about introducing, I had actually written in a journal 5 years earlier, giving myself the name Whitefeather, but I never used it, and I totally forgot about it. And when I wrote this paragraph, because I know you write,
Yes.
and this was a day, Iroprograph journal. We would take several days of just intensive writing. And that particular session was about the self. And so I envisioned, it was a day vision, a daydream, and I had given myself Whitefeather, envisioned a headdress of white eagle feathers, and shared words from my elder grandmother Twyla, which I would come to learn years later, of us being rainbow-bodied people walking the rainbow path of peace. So I'm honored when I share my name Whitefeather, because it was a gift, a precious gift. And so that's my name, who I am. I'm an earth walker and a teacher, a holistic nurse for many years, a dancer, choreographer, and a lover of life. I love the plants. I love to learn about them, teach about them, make medicine, share with others. Also shiatsu practitioner, and I learned acupuncture many decades ago with a very special physician. And so I embrace the gift of working with my hands, being born in October. People who are born in October are the workers and creators. You have a gift to work with your hands. So I do that. And I teach. I share the wisdom wheel teachings at grandmother Twyla, Ueno Two Wolves, who gave me the name Whitefeather. We traveled together for a number of years. We spent a lot of time together, and she instructed me. So I'm a teacher from her teachings of the cycles of truth, the wisdom wheel teachings, which are ancient teachings that go all the way back to the peacemaker. So she always had an open door at her place. We would always say we're going to the Twyla Zone when we would go there. And so I had a great opportunity. And before she passed, about 10 years before she passed, she called me to her place with another sister to carry on the teachings. So I'm very happy to be here, because that's what I would like to focus on. Because to live well, we have to think about our spiritual selves.
Absolutely.
And that's what's missing, not in Woodstock, but across the planet, especially the United States. So these are ancient wisdom wheel teachings, and they help us to connect with the earth. Because one thing we see during this cycle that we're in now is that we're disconnected from the earth. Everything is too fast. We're always rushing here, there. I have to go here. I have to answer my email, my Facebook, my this, that, and the other thing. Children, they're up too early. They go to sleep too late. They're up too early, and they're stressed. They don't get outside. Children in school do not get outside, which is really a crime. We need to be connected with the earth. We need to know where our food comes from, And so what I would like to share in this short time is allowing us to know who we are, because each of us come in with special gifts and abilities. And we bring this to the circle of life. Each and every one of us, like a snowflake, we're unique. And let me ask you, Thurman, what month are you born?
Oh, I'm August.
So you are a teacher and a server. And how perfect is that? Yes.
Very.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. These are the gifts of cycles of truth. So, is there anyone else you know you would like to know what month? Your husband. What month is your husband?
He was born in January.
Okay, so January, he is a seeker and doer, and he loves to learn truth. So audience members, if you're listening, think about yourself, your friends, who's born in January. These are gifts. Amongst the people, we would know about each other, who we are, so we can understand each other more clearly, what our limitations are. And so you're being born in August as a teacher and server, and that's a wonderful thing because you inspire others. And he, being a seeker and doer, he loves to learn truth. And the way he expresses that learning truth is through love. He's very devoted. He's very devoted to you and the family.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And so let's say someone is born, so we'll go around the wheel. We'll go around the cycles of truth. So we spoke about January as being the seeker and doer. People who are born in February are known as the assessor and praiser. So they're always checking things out, right? And they honor truth. They honor truth. People who are born in March are the regulators and refiners.
Wow.
Detail, they are very organized, and they express that gift through living truth. So April people, I'm sure there's someone out there born in April, you are the seer and motivator. People born in April are very perceptive. They have a great deal of insight, and they help to inspire others as well.
Wow.
Yeah. People in May are the listeners and thinkers. So think about anyone you know in May, right? And they walk truth. Yeah. And June are the orators. They're the presenters and advisors. And oftentimes, the elders, the spokespeople were born in June because it's a natural gift of speaking truth. So we're talking about the cycles of truth. Then we move up the pathway of peace to July, and the July people are lovers and conquerors. They are the people who will stick to something and make sure it gets done. Very devoted to their families. See, they're across from your husband, right? We see a circle, right? The wisdom wheel, we see many wheels across the Turtle Island, and this wisdom wheel is akin to the Wolf Clan. So the Wolf Clan, wolves are trailblazers, right? And now we know that the wolves are very much in peril. Our four-leggeds
yes.
are really having a difficult time, so we think about them and we send our love and appreciation to the four-legged wolves. And then we go into August, as we said, the teacher and server, which is you, and you do teach truth. You have this session, you do serve truth, you have the wonderful food pantry, and you've been serving truth for many years. So that's an example of who you are. And then the September people are the analyzers and constructors. They always like to have projects going. They're very analytical, want to take everything apart, then put it back together again. Those are our September people. So we all bring gifts to the circle. And then, as we said, October are the workers and creators. And November, which is the month we're in now, are the benefactors and planners. And the people born in November have the gift of sharing truth. They share truth. They walk truth. They walk their talk. And they also have a natural gift to work with the crystal. We come to December, which is the month our elder grandmother Twyla was born. and that is in the north, the place of healing and wisdom. And those people born in December are the dreamers and counselors, right? Always dreaming, counseling, and then speaking, sharing that with others. So that's a highlight, and then we see the center of the wisdom wheel is the crystal, which is the vibral core, the R within, the within, the within, and that represents clarity and wholeness. So that's like a kind of highlight of the wisdom wheel and how we can connect with it, because it's a way of life. It's a teaching that helps us to connect to the earth, our Mother Earth, our first mother, right? Everything we need, she provides for us. So gratitude, having an attitude of gratitude in everything that we do is essential, because that's what gets us through all these difficult times that we are experiencing and we will continue to experience as the earth changes occur. We see that we need to stay centered, we need to stay focused. One of the things that I do as introducing myself is I share the 7 Directions movement meditation, which embraces the wisdom wheel teachings, the cycles of truth. And it's a dance, it's a gentle dance that we do together. I've been teaching it for over 25 years now, and Grandmother Twyla and I, we brought this together, brings the cycles of truth, honors the Mother Earth, our first mother, helps to center us and gives us the opportunity to give thanks for everything we have, to thank the Mother Earth, because she gives us everything we have. Without Mother Earth, we wouldn't be here. How much time do we actually spend in gratitude with the earth? So we can do that as the children, as our youngins. That's a really nice thing to do. Go out to the earth. At Thurman, we met at the drum gathering.
Yes. In New Falls, yes.
Yes, the Million Women's Drum Happening gathering, where we connected to honor the trees. Because as drummers, women drummers, men drummers, we use the drum and they come from somewhere. So have that opportunity to give thanks, to give back gratitude to the trees, right? And we see in nature the white pine, which is the tree of peace. Here we are in the Catskills, where we're surrounded by the white pine, and that is the great tree of peace. And there's a lot of healing that comes from that tree. I had a student one time who brought like a whole book about all the uses of white pine. So we want to stay healthy during the winter time. Oh, we're all around this white pine. What can we do? How can we bring this earth energy into ourselves? White pine. You can nibble on the pine needle.
Oh, wow.
And you'll get ascorbic acid. It's very tart. So your nutrition, right? Scurvy, that's prevented from the white pine. The white pine, how do you know if it's a white pine? Well, if you take one of the leaves from the white pine, you see it has 5 little strands connected, which symbolizes life, unity, equality for eternity. And then that brings us strength, the 5th strand. And we see in the nation, the Haudenosaunee Nation, is the white pine is the symbol of peace. So we are surrounded here in the Catskills with white pine. Something simple we can do is to collect the white pine, get a nice clean jar, and you could take the white pine needles after you ask the white pine, is it okay? I want to nourish my family. Is it okay if I have some? And you wait for an answer. And you'll receive a yes or a no in a subtle way. And then you know it's okay. Because we don't want to just go and take, because we know we've got oversaturated with the taking. So we want to give our thoughts. How are we using this? What is it for? We gather, collect, fill the jar, the clean jar. Really, you can fill a lot in there, and you can offer a song while you're doing that, or offer a strand of your hair. Like you want to give something to this tree who's going to nourish you and your family. And then you can get some apple cider vinegar. Go to your health food store, get a nice jar. Organic apple cider vinegar would be best. fill that jar with the vinegar, put the lid on, and maybe you want to put a piece of wax paper because you don't want the lid to corrode. But you let that set for 6 weeks. You know, you can label it white pine, tree of peace, put the date, wait for 6 weeks. And then after the 6 weeks, you strain that off and you return that beautiful white pine leaves back to where they came from or into your compost. But thoughtfully, you want to return that medicine that you've just created so you have the most beautiful minerals, vitamins, nutrition in that jar of vinegar and white pine. And what you can do is take a teaspoon every day, put it in some hot water, drink it. Or if you're making salad dressing, you can add it into your salad dressing mix. I have some friends who say it reminds them very much of balsamic vinegar, which of course we know is, you know, expensive. Here, all you did was buy yourself a beautiful jar of organic apple cider vinegar, which is much less. And you have nutrition. You have something you created yourself, right?
Yes.
And make your food your medicine. And you can nourish yourself all through winter. If you're making a soup, you know, you can put a big splash in your soup. Okay, so you have your soup, your salad dressing, or just the hot water. And that will really keep you healthy, because when we talk about plants, we want to think about plants as prevention. You don't want to wait till you have sniffles and fevers, and of course it's very successful then. However, best is having your herbal foods, your wild plants, know what grows around you, outside your back door. That's your medicine.
You know, you said something a few minutes ago that has really struck me. We would be, I think, more healthy as individuals and as groups if we could develop some methods to connect with our spirituality. I meet so many people who have lost this connection, and they don't even know how to begin to get it back. How would you suggest to a person, what would be a good way to just tap yourself in for a moment to your spiritual heart, to your center?
Yes. Well, I think the best way is to allow yourself to spend 10 minutes a day with Mother Earth. Now, it's chilly now, we're in November, but if you take a cushion out there and sit on the earth for 10 minutes. Now this was shared by one of the elders, Lorraine Moffey-Williams from Australia. She's a Maori elder. And that question came up some years ago. And she said, not only is that going to help you, but it helps the Mother Earth. Because we connect, you see. And the Mother Earth loves when we're with her. And when we sing to the trees. You know, women, men out there, when you sing to your plants or you talk to your plants, we know, there's a science fact, they enjoy that. They have emotions. So be with the earth, express your love, and then you receive back, and it also helps the earth. So I would say 10 minutes a day with the Mother Earth.
I think that's
go outside,
wonderful.
even if you're going for a walk, go for a walk, but make sure 10 minutes. This is my time with the Mother Earth. This is the time for me to connect and give thanks. And that's why we teach the 7 Direction Movement Meditation, because that gives us that opportunity, and that's about 40 minutes of time. If you're really quick, you can do it faster, but you take 20 minutes each day and you connect, you embrace our children. So you're thinking about not only yourself, but the planet and our children to the 7th generation, because we need to think ahead, right? This is what our true forefathers, the Haudenosaunee, would think, how is our decision going to affect the 7th generation? We have to think 7 generations ahead in our policy making, right? But even for ourselves, we need to stay strong. We need to stay connected. Yeah, so our kids know, yeah, the earth is our first mother. We need to give her respect, right? So if we don't allow ourselves to do that, then how can we teach? How will our children know?
So we just need to connect with the earth. Sometimes people don't realize, I guess you have to work with the intention. Because when you think of connecting, if you're down in the city or if you're here, you're walking around, people are out walking around on the sidewalk or they're in groups on the village green or whatever. But I think on one level that is a connecting, but it's not a conscious connecting.
Right.
Anytime we get out in the grass, anytime we're walking, anytime we are saying how beautiful a tree is or the sun or whatever, but we don't necessarily think about it. I think on a subconscious level that it's working, but it's magnified if it's on a conscious level.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay. So if a person is ill, say a person has come down with a cold or a cough or, things that we do in the winter, would it not be good while you're taking whatever it is you take for your cold or your cough or whatever to just connect with your Mother Earth?
Absolutely. Because we receive energy from the Earth Mother. It's Earth energy. That's what we share, and that's what we receive. So when we take our shoes and socks off and stand on the earth barefoot, we receive a great deal of healing energy. They have a name for it now, earthing or something like that. Though we always knew that being on the earth just because we receive energy, earth energy from the Mother Earth, and we receive energy from the sky world through the top of our head. So when we focus on that, as I share in the 7 Direction Movement meditation, we are giving ourselves that time to consciously connect to the Mother Earth and consciously offer our love through our breath, because our breath and our thoughts are very powerful, right? What we think, sometimes you think of someone and then the phone rings. And so our thoughts have a great gifts. So if we're limited to talk about walking down the street, it's obscene. Everyone has their head down. No one's looking at outside of themselves. And we're disconnecting. We all know this, but it seems to be proliferating. We need to take time to turn that action down and connect to the Mother Earth with our breath, with our thoughts. When we go for that walk, we are receiving healing energy. When you go for a walk, you always feel better when you come back, because we're receiving energy, earth energy. And we're earth beings, we're earth walkers. So when we consciously focus on the gratitude to the Mother Earth, feel the energy, we see the sun, we're always happy for the sunny day, right? But now we have our heads down, we're looking down, we need to look up, because there's a lot of things going on up in the sky above us that aren't so good. And so we need to see, what are those streaks going by in the sky? What are those planes with these trails coming out? We need to open our minds, because there's something going on that I think we're not quite aware of. And that's because we're disconnected. We're always rushing to go here, rushing to go there. And if we just stay in one place for 10 minutes, you'll see a lot of things going on that weren't going on 20 years ago up in the sky.
That's true. That's very true. Your 10 minutes, that's very interesting. The 10 minutes, that came from Grandmother Twyla.
No, actually, that's from Lorraine Moffey Williams,
Okay.
Our elder.
The Maori. The Maori.
Yes, Maori.
Years ago, in the DC metro area, I went to a fitness class that was given by a Marine, okay? A Marine.
Okay.
And he said that if you want to be fit, all you need to do is every day take 10 minutes and walk and think about the earth around you. This was a Marine who said just what you have said. And he was so far from, but he really wasn't.
But that Marine could have been an Abenaki. He could have been Lenape. You know, he was a Marine, but, you know, there were many Native Marines.
Yes.
So, yeah. So that
And
connection.
warriors have their good side. But this was interesting how I heard this back in 1990, and then here it is again.
Right, and you
know?
remembered it, and you remembered that, because it is very an important awareness. I mean, that's something we can make an effort to do, especially with our children, because it's important for us to receive energy and sunlight and air. When we're cramped, into classrooms or going from one building to another, we've lost that connection.
Well, and when you spend 10 minutes walking and contemplating casually, it was a very disorganized thing what this man said, but it really wasn't. In other words, he didn't say you had to stand on your head or anybody could do it. When you do this, your heart settles down.
Yeah.
The blood pressure settles down.
Absolutely.
The digestion kind of. And so if you give your body 10 minutes,
Yes.
and you give the planet 10 minutes.
That's right.
That's really,
Yeah.
And also, I have a question to ask you because you seem to be really tuned in on plants and communicating with plants. If you're not feeling well, and we do this is a really Woodstock thing. We'll go into the sunflower and we'll try to figure out, well, what is it? What kind of a tea do I need to make of this whatever? And you stand around and hear all these jars and all these bags, and how do you know which one is for you?
Well, I would say you would already know what is for you by what calls to you. We're in the mode of going something. Well, first of all, let's look at that person not feeling well. What is that saying? You have to see, we always want to push things aside, fix it, get rid of it. But, maybe you need to rest. Maybe you need to sleep. Maybe you need to take the day off. Maybe you need to stay home from school. We always think we have to be go, go, go. Whenever we find an illness, in the wise woman tradition, we say, what is the gift? How can we find the gift in our situation that we're in? What does it allow you, me, to do that you don't normally do when you're not feeling well? What does it allow you to do? And what does it allow you not to do what you would normally do? So you want to see what is the gift? How can I make this situation, this illness, my ally, my friend? What is it telling me? What is it teaching me? Rather than trying to squelch it and get rid of it so you could go on. We need to make friends with our bodies, ourselves, and our situations that we're in. We're always taught or programmed to think, we have to just charge ahead. Well, hey, how about taking the day off? How about resting? We're up. This society is so overworked, so overstimulated. So I think people can find how you can make friends with that. But when you're going back to your what shall I take, that's a very good question, because you go into the store and there's like 50 items there, and which is it for me? Well, again, we're in this society of more is better, you have more choices. Well, I have an herbal grandmother who I learned from, Kiwa Denokwe, woman of the Northwest Wind. She was a very special woman. You would have loved to have her on your show. She's since passed on, but she is an ethnobotanist, herbalist, storyteller, educator, Anishinaabe, from the Great Lakes. and I lived with her at some point, and I studied. We stayed friends for many years. I was very grateful for her wisdom. Some of you have perhaps met her over the years at our Green Nations gatherings. But her way was, if you knew 10 plants, you could really benefit yourself, your friends, your family. So you would know. So what I'm inviting is to learn about 10 plants through the next 10 years, because you see, we're so bombarded with things, if you really want to learn and not just go and take something, but to learn about the plants, you want to see what grows around in our area. That white pine, that would probably help quite a bit right there. You see, one plant covers a lot of ground. As I said, no pun intended. But the pine, there was a whole stack of notes of remedies. See, one plant has many uses. So it's a great benefit for us to learn about the plants. So if we really learn, tradition would have it be one plant a year, just because it changes. You have to really know the plant.
So if we were to start off with our first plant, it would be white pine.
It could be, well, that's a tree, but you could start off with that. I mean, the way you can do it is an example is maybe there's a plant or a flower for you all out there listening that it calls to you. I really like it. So that there's you having a relationship. So find out about that plant. Maybe you want to identify it, learn about it, sit with it. Because how do you think we learned about these things? The plants give us information. The trees, the people learned through the wisdom of the plants, the wisdom of the trees. So if we learn to slow down, which again that 10 minutes helps us to do, because then Grandmother Twyla would say, we move too fast. We're out of rhythm with the earth because we're always rushing. And I think it's even more so now because of the fast pace of everything going. Got to get a faster connection, that speed, that'll be even faster. So and I think of this one example. I was coming back, this is, 18, 20 something years ago, coming back from India, actually from Tibet. And I was gone for a while, rented a car, and was driving home. And I'm in this car, and I'm like really going fast. I just flew across the whole, half of the planet in the chat. And I'm in this rented car, and a friend of mine had this same kind of car, and she always would get speeding tickets. And I said, oh, I can see why she gets speeding tickets, because the car moves fast. And no sooner did I think that, I looked behind in my rear view mirror, and I saw the lights. So I got the ticket for going 60 in a 50 miles per hour. Turns out nowadays that is the speed limit now.
Right.
And people are going 70.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's like a perfect example of how we're moving faster and faster. So we need to slow down. We need to, take time out, unplug. Right? They have meatless Mondays. We should do unplug Tuesdays or something like that. But make that effort to slow down, because so much of the nature goes by that we could receive from the Mother Earth, if we do slow down. And I think that would help. So when you're asking about going back into the store, what do you choose out of those 10 things? I say before you go there, learn about what's around us, what calls to you. That's our medicine. If you look outside, for those of us who have backyards or, land, see what grows outside your back door. That's really your medicine. Find out what is that. Maybe you have mullein growing out in your yard. Hey, you might be a smoker. You may have lung problems. Mullein is, a great healer for the lungs, and it has many other benefits. So that's an old way of finding what connects to you. Of Of course, you can, some people douse. They'll go and douse for their, if you're in the store. But you really want to work with plants nourishing all along. Don't wait till you don't feel well. You want to, take things that are helpful. Nettles, we all know nettles. In Europe, I'm sure there's people here, there's like a gazillion recipes for nettle soup. Nettles grows abundantly in our area, and I really highly recommend that y'all start growing some and make yourself a little herb garden, because that's the best thing, because you tend it, you see the plant, you know where it came from, and it will be your best medicine. Because now we see, as the more and more people are interested in the plants, herbal medicine, the quality's going down. Things are also being, not able to have access to, because there is so many people. So I really think it's a great idea, and just see what's growing around where you live, because I'm sure all of the woodstockers who have yards or go for nice walks where the dogs haven't been playing, you can find and harvest things for yourself, like spearmint, mint. Those things are really good. So you want to drink mint tea, now, so it's lung time. We're going into this cold weather, so we want to think ahead of time. We want to nourish our lungs. So we want to take in those miso broths, or maybe some of that comfrey leaf tea. So how I learned, a cup of comfrey leaf keeps the doctor away. Of course, we see that these warning labels, comfrey is cancer causing. Well, there's more to it than that. Its root is pyrolyzed alkaloids that you have to ingest like a ton of it for a long time. But we don't drink herbs that way. So, again, that's fear mode that has been brought into the health world. But we know that our ancestors all along have taken comfrey leaf, and you can grow a comfrey plant. If you have a root of comfrey somebody could give you, you'll have a big plant for the rest of the time you live wherever you are, and you can harvest, dry the comfrey leaf, make yourself a nice comfrey infusion. We like to drink nourishing herbal infusions. Is the way to go for your health, because you're getting minerals, which we all need for growing bones for the children, for prevention, because we have a lot of the colds going around. And of course, we want to get sunlight. So, I look at plants differently than someone who was going to store. What do I get? Well, again, as I said, take a look at your situation. How can you align with it? And how can you nourish yourself? So you want to nourish. That's what we're all about. Not about getting rid of anything, because everything we have we need. Everything isn't perfect. We just need to understand that perfection isn't always something that looks great.
Well, it's one of the things that I am observing is that we get these respiratory things now because this is the time of the year. But fatigue, people now are working not because they want to, but because they have to, 3 jobs. And the fatigue, so if you come down with something, it's because you need to rest. Right. Very often.
Oh, absolutely. Rest is the first thing when we think about how can we heal. We have to rest. Sleep is one of the best medicines. In fact, I think even the Dalai Lama, at one time he said sleep was the best meditation. Because I remember I would go to sleep and say, I'm going to meditate now. But sleep and rest is very important, and that's one thing that most of us are in the great decline of, especially our children. Traditionally, you wake in the wintertime, you would wake up after the sun. In the summertime, you wake up before the sun. So where the kids wake up too early. They go to school too early. They're still half asleep, and they're in school. So, and then they have the lights draining the vitamin C, the fluorescent lights, and they're all in close contact with one another. So we see then one gets it, the next one goes down. So it's very difficult. And it's very difficult, as you're saying, when someone has holding down 3 jobs and they do come down with a flu or cold, they don't have a choice. They have to go to work. So those folks, you know, we just say you do the best you can, because that's all we can do. But in optimum state, yes, you sleep, you rest. That's the first thing, is rest. Are you getting enough rest? If not, well, you can't, then it's something, then you go to the store, well, that didn't help, or, you know, I need more because it's not working. Well, you're not participating in your healing for yourself. So optimum condition is stay home and rest. You know, when we were kids and we were sick, we stayed home.
Yes.
Nowadays, you know,
Keep going.
Keep going. So
Off you go to school.
yeah, so it's difficult times we're in. Again, we do our best, and in doing that, we want to look towards nourishing ourselves all year long. So oat straw is another very inexpensive plant that brings a great benefit: calcium, minerals. Kids love it. It has a sweet taste, and then you can make a dry infusion. So if I'm going to the store, I would get a big bag of something as opposed to a little box in little bags, because the box with the little bags are beverages. They're really not something that is going to take you to the other side. Yeah, you need the minerals. You need the leaves, the plant, the dry plant material to soak for at least 4 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, and then it draws out the minerals. These are leaves like nettles or oat straw or the comfrey leaf. Yeah, you would let that brew, not 5 minutes, but
4 hours.
4 hours.
So
or
you would put
overnight.
boiling water and then leave it.
Yeah, so you would you maybe go to a health food store and you get yourself a bag of oat straw, and then you have a jar, you fill it a third full, and then you pour that boiling water, close it. Sometimes you have to put a knife because you don't want the jar to break if you're pouring really hot water. But you put the lid on, let it set for 4 hours, strain it off, then you drink 3-4 cups of that a day. It will speed your recovery time a lot faster because you're getting the minerals along with your rest and staying away from the sugar. Of course, we can do a whole program on that, but we all know we minimize sugar. I think the average American eats 150 pounds of sugar a year. It used to be 5 pounds, which was an excess. Now it's 150 pounds. So we see diabetes. We see the children. It's a very serious situation we're in. So will, if you cut out your sugar when you're not well, that will help too.
You know, cutting out sugar is not, I don't think it's just do it when you're stressed or sick.
Oh,
You need to do it, all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm finding that so many people now don't even have kitchens anymore. They don't have access to food, so that they end up eating out of the convenience stores, out of the drugstores. The diet is destructive at best.
Yes.
So just getting rid of the sugar would be a tremendous amount of help. But still, I mean,
That would
leaves a
solve
lot to be desired.
if people stopped eating sugar, we'd have less crime. We'd have happier people, and we'd have less diabetes, less obesity, less heart disease, less everything. I mean, Grandmother Twyla, I always remember, natural world, you take your hands, put your hands together, that's how much food you should consume on your plate.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right. If we did this, we wouldn't be overweight.
That's right.
And we leave out the meat.
Well, it depends. If it's grass-fed, I'm not opposed to it, though. If you cannot eat meat, that's a great, but that is not the situation for a lot of people. Instead, we see supersize, right? Everything is big. We all know this. So we want to kind of put that aside, try and go here, and we'll be a lot healthier.
Very nice.
We eat natural world is the berries and fruits first.
Yes.
Yeah, in the morning. You know, we take from for our food, and then daytime, then we would consume, if you're going to consume the carnivores, that time. And nighttime is roots, like the potato, the carrots, beets. So we eat from beneath the earth and the nighttime.
So basically what we're doing is if you have your berries in the morning, you're getting the things that are off the ground, fruits. The meats would be lunchtime, so that would be protein, and then you're getting your carbs at night.
Well,
It's
the
basically-
roots, yeah.
But you're saying specifically root vegetables
Yeah,
at night.
things that grow on, yeah. I mean, that's natural eating is how it would be done.
What about raw foods?
What about them?
Well,
a lot of people are eat a raw food diet, and you know, they swear by it. A lot of people eat raw food diet and they're dying. So I don't think we are created for a raw food diet. Really, it's said in order for us to assimilate our food, we need to break the cell wall down to get the nutrients. So that's done by cooking, you know, not by just eating raw. Yeah. So I think in certain cases, or certain times in one's life, it might be beneficial, but to be on a continuous raw food diet, you know, that's questionable. I don't really know any healthy person who's been
raw
on
food
a
diet.
long-term raw
Right.
food diet.
right.
I don't think it's sustainable. Yeah.
Not on the long haul, not
Yeah.
for years and years.
Right.
I had a friend several years ago who was talking to me about a raw food diet, and she said, well, in the final analysis, we won't know about raw food until we start seeing people who have been on a raw food diet for a number of years, and we see what the long-term effects are, you know. So I don't know. I'm not on a raw food diet, but I do know people who are.
Especially in the wintertime.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's such a good thing. We need to be warm. We need to have warm food.
Soups.
Yeah, I mean, what
Stews.
you eat in the natural world, you know, in the cold, there is nothing raw to eat.
Right.
So that really, you know, it kind of goes against the grain. But yeah, the few people who I've known to be on long-term raw food diets don't appear to be so healthy. But like you say, in the long term, yeah.
We're just going to have to wait and see how it. And I don't know that many people who are on a raw food diet anyway, so it's hard to really to determine. But that is something to be factored in, is one's diet. And then I think if you can just get people off of potato chips and Twinkies, and I know that seems so terrible to even bring that up. People feel like, you know, this is so 1990s. But the truth of the matter is, if you live at a time when you don't have time to cook and you don't really have a kitchen anymore anyway, then it's what's on the shelf at the gas station or at the grocery store, at the drugstore. And that's what's there.
Right. So you have to make an effort.
Yes.
And along with that effort comes education, you know, knowing about the food chain, which, you know, has been changed. And the food, you know, of course, we see our food is compromised for a great deal of our population. You know, some people have the opportunity to eat organic food, but it costs more money. But in the long run, I always say go for the organic, because down the road, when it comes to the healthcare cost, you're paying. You're paying for that cheap bag of potato chips. You're paying for that liter of Coca-Cola or that lunch meat. You will pay down the road.
Yes.
If it's cheaper, you will pay with your health. Though the less you eat, the longer you'll live. You know, we look at the history of indigenous people who have really long lives. They don't eat a lot. They don't eat a lot. So another way, if you want to extend your life, I mean, for some people, they don't want to extend their lives. But for those who do, you want to eat less. Again, eliminate the sugar, sit with the Mother Earth. Come and join the movement meditation. I want to offer this to all of those who are listening. It's like a be-in tomorrow at 10 a.m. here on the Andy Lee Field. I'm offering to share the 7 Direction Movement Meditation. So for those of you who do want to send love, connect as a group, because collectively it's always more profound, our thoughts when they come together, to offer our love and gratitude to the Mother Earth, our first mother. And we'll learn about the cycles of truth. We dance 9 of the 12 cycles of truth. And when we do this 7 Direction Movement Meditation, it allows us to bring clarity and wholeness. And for those people who can see auras, your aura gets brighter because you're in your true nature, which is love and kindness and compassion. We love the Mother Earth. We all love to play outside, be outside. Tomorrow will be a nice day for mid-November, sun shining. So I invite anyone to come and be with us. The free class, it's not even a class, it's a gathering for us to offer our gratitude to the Mother Earth. And then we learn the directions in the East, where we begin bringing in creativity and inspiration for the new day. As we move to the South, we're learning our lessons, right? And we come around to the West, the place of inner knowing, and then the North, the place of healing and wisdom and gratitude. And we bring, and so we'll receive that collective energy from Mother Earth. Here she'll be very happy that we're there, planting our feet on her, receiving the energy and sharing our love. So tomorrow, if you can be at Andy Lee Field, 10 a.m., I'm going to be there. So I invite listeners to come, children. It's something from our Wolf Clan, trailblazers, teachers of the cycles of truth. So please join us tomorrow.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Okay.
Because it's going to be a gorgeous morning
It is.
tomorrow.
It will be.
We are down to 1 minute.
Okay.
This has
1
been
minute.
the loveliest evening. Do you have one last thing that you would like to say?
I do. And it's a gratitude. And it's a Seneca praise. Oh, great mystery, we've awakened to another sun, grateful for the gifts bestowed, granted one by one, grateful for the greatest gift, the precious breath of life, grateful for abilities that guide us day and night. As we walk our chosen paths of lessons we must learn, spiritual peace and happiness are the rewards of life we earn. Thank you for our spiritual strength and for our thoughts to praise. Thank you for the infinite love that guides us through these days. We say Daniho, Nyahweh, Swanio. And we thank the Great Mystery, and I thank all of you who've listened and maybe learned something, maybe bring something in, let something go. I'm so grateful for that. And thank you, Thurman, so much.
Thank you. This was lovely. And thank you so much.